2 marathons in the same day at the end and 2 marathons in the same day in the beginning. And the whole thing was a mental game of it doesn't matter how you feel, you have more potential in you than you've ever been pressed before. And this is an experience that's pressing you mentally into a physical place that you didn't know that you had, but you just keep going. You just keep pressing.
Hey guys, welcome to Keep On Pushing Stories, where, yes, we tell you real life stories of inspiration and motivation because we want you to be inspired and live your absolute best life. And today I'm so excited to welcome Robert Hamilton Owens to the segment. Robert, welcome to Keep On Pushing Stories.
Hey, thank you for allowing me to be here. It's good to see you.
It's good to see you too, and what we'd like to know first of all, Robert, is what it is that you do. How do you serve? How do you bring value to others?
You know, I've been coaching and training people for about 40 years, as well as I'm a business consultant doing leadership and management training. And I've done that in about 30 nations. So it's been a nice, long 30, 40-year time of working with young people and training them as working with adults in business and leadership management.
That sounds amazing. Sounds like you're making a tremendous difference. And so if someone wanted to find you to definitely benefit from your wisdom, where would they find you?
They can go to my website, which is roberthamiltonowens.com. Robert Hamilton, like the stage play, hamiltonowens.com. And there's all my information. And I get emails from all over the world asking me questions. So if the listener has any questions, I'm always happy to encourage them from wherever they are.
All right, roberthamiltonowens.com. Awesome. So, Robert, what we really want to know, though, is your Keep On Pushing story. We want to know of a time when you had to overcome a significant challenge or you had to push yourself out of your comfort zone. So let us have it.
You know, actually, there have been many. Probably one that's most recent is doing 7 marathons in 7 days on 7 continents. I had no idea what I was getting myself into because I did not know that the first 2 marathons had to be done within 20 hours. And so the first one was at 20 below zero in the Antarctic. And then we got on a plane and flew back to Cape Town, and it was 90 degrees above in Cape Town. And we'd only had 4 hours of sleep between the first one and then getting off the plane and start running immediately again for the second one. And so mentally, I had no idea what it was like, A, to run at 20 below zero and to not die. Because if I stopped, I would freeze. The wind was blowing really, really wildly. And so it became very, very cold. It wasn't a marathon, it was an adventure just to survive it. But then to get on this plane and then have to do back-to-back marathons in the heat. And then I was scrambled like, wow, this is really hard. Fortunately, I had purchased shoes. I took 4 different size shoes for this event, knowing that my feet would swell. Anyway, I started in the size 11.5 and finished in the size 13.5. But that's another story. But when we got done with Cape Town, then we had to get on a plane to Perth, Australia. When I got to Perth, in this race thing, every time you land, you just start running, no matter what time of day it is. So all of a sudden, we landed in Perth, and it was a night marathon. And I was really tired. I started about 7 o'clock at night. There was 50 of us, 35 guys, 15 women. And I'd never run a night marathon mentally or physically. And when you run by yourself in the dark for a long time, you get all kinds of thoughts in your head. Like, wow, this is crazy. I'm out here by myself. This is my 3rd marathon in 2 days. And I wonder how I'm going to do that. So I had to work my mind gym, working out how to have a game plan. Got through that. Of course, when you finish, no one's around except for the guy that says, hey, Robert, you did a good job. See you, the hotel's over there. There's nobody clapping for you. There's out in the middle of the night, 2 in the morning. You get 2 or 3 hours of sleep. You get on a plane and you fly to Dubai and you do another night marathon. And I go, wow, 2 night marathons being alone all night. by myself running 26.3 miles. Did that. Again, no one's around when you finish except for the guy that clicks your little timer thing and stamps that you did it, you're legal. Go over there, take the bus, shuttle bus, get in the hotel. We'll pick you up in 4 hours. You're getting on a plane and you're flying to Lisbon. Go to Lisbon, and in Lisbon, it's cold and rainy and wet, and you're running in a parka, and you're running with gloves on, and you're running on cobblestones, so it's uneven, and I'm slipping and falling on my back, laying in the rain, cold, thinking, this is nuts. It's 2 a.m. I got diarrhea. I got to find a place to go to the bathroom. My body's going nuts. Get through that. You could have gone like with my head. It was like, this is crazy. And then they said, in 4 hours, you got to get on the bus, go upstairs, take a shower, get downstairs. We're flying to Cartagena, Colombia. And I said, okay, Colombia. So then you fly to Cartagena, Colombia, and it's back in the tropics. It's 90 degrees. It's 85% humidity. You go from Europe, wintertime, to Cartagena by the equator. And all of a sudden you go through this next thing. It's another night marathon. And the night marathon is where you're so tired that you just think, how do I do this? And the same thing is one bite at a time, like how to eat an elephant, one bite at a time, or mini goals. And you just get into your mind and you break it down into segments where you can stay in the game and just focus on what you need to do. And then, if you can imagine, you get done with that about 2 a.m. and you go into your hotel and all these people are sitting around having food in the lobby because they got after hour service, and none of them said they want to go to bed. Screw sleep. We got to get on a plane in 2 hours, fly to Miami. It's only a 2-hour flight to Miami. And as soon as we get to Miami, we have to do another marathon. So we do 2 marathons in the same day at the end and 2 marathons in the same day in the beginning. And the whole thing was a mental game of, it doesn't matter how you feel, you have more potential in you than you've ever been pressed before. And this is an experience that's pressing you mentally into a physical place that you didn't know that you had, but you just keep going. You just keep pressing. And it was another one of those mental wins for me, not just physically, but mentally breaking this thing down, that this moment of 7 days in a row is not too big for me. I can do this. I have more talent, more ability than I know. I just need to learn to think it through, stay focused, get the negative dialogue out of my head, do my deep breathing. And actually, what really was astounding was I ran all 7 marathons with my mouth closed because I had practiced my breathing techniques for deep diaphragm breathing, where I didn't need to open my mouth, and I forgot about opening my mouth. That was a practice.
How old were you when you did this, Robert?
I did it at 66 years old.
66 years old, 7 marathons in 7 days. You spoke about doing the mind gym. Expound on that for me.
I have mental work that I work on my thinking. Many people think that the thoughts that are in their brain are theirs, but they're not. They're other people's thoughts who have come to take root in their brain. Poor self-worth, depression, anger, all kinds of things come and want to live in your brain, and you don't have to let them live there. You can learn to dislodge them and replace them with positive thoughts. And so I and the special ops military guys that I hang with and the special ops military instructors who we train young men and women, we have practiced and teach them how to cut the negative dialogue in our head, which comes from panic and anxiety and being overwhelmed, and learn to reboot your brain, move the negative out and move the positive in. And so you can learn how to do that if every day you practice taking control of the way you think. And most people don't think about how they think. They just think. Mm-hmm. But there's a science in learning to think the way you want to think and on the things you want to think about. And so we train our young men and young women to change the way they think, because we need emotionally mature young men and women, not emotionally immature young men and women. So there's many people, like we see a tennis player, he gets mad and he just throws his racket. That's emotional immaturity. When you see some golfer throw his golf club, that's emotional immaturity. When you see somebody just cuss somebody out, lose it, that's emotional immaturity. And we have to train young men and women that they can't do that. They've got to make good decisions for themselves and for others. And it takes practicing mind work so that when the pressure comes, they don't snap and do something stupid, which costs them or their team safety or issues.
Yeah.
So that's our goal, work with young people, of learning how to retrain our mind.
Which is what we need to do in our lives as well when we find ourselves in those pressure situations. Now, what would you say from that experience, running 7 marathons in 7 days at 6 to 6, 2 marathons a day at the beginning and at the end? What's the biggest lesson you learned?
You're stronger than you think, and you can do more than you think.
You are stronger than you think. You, my friend, can do more than you think. Amazing.
At any age. At any age.
At any age, exactly. And you have proven that. So, Robert, thank you for that. Thank you for sharing that experience and leaving us with that powerful lesson.
You bet. Thank you for having me. It's been good to be with you.
Indeed. Guys, if you enjoyed this, if you found it valuable, please leave a comment at the bottom, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell, and most importantly, share it. Your friends want to be inspired as well, so share it, man. Don't keep it. And if you visit my website, devonharris.com, and subscribe to the newsletter, you will get this and other amazing videos in your email. Until
Devon, can I say one last thing?
Sure.
I would like the listeners to write you and tell you what they got out of today's broadcast. I'd like them to give you feedback on what they learned and what they would like to hear more of and what they thought of that old man Owens. You know, it'd be good if they communicated. And also, if they want, they can go get my book. And my book is called Beyond Average by Robert Hamilton Owens, but it's also an audiobook. And I do the narration of the audiobook. And so I have a lot of fun telling the stories in the book on audiobook. But if they want, they can go audiobook, I don't know, Apple or maybe audio, or there's like 5 or 6 different places. But if they want, then they can write me and they can say, hey, Mr. Owens. And I get letters all the time from people asking me these questions. But I want them to give you feedback on this time we had today.
Indeed, indeed. So roberthamiltonowens.com, or of course, devonharris.com. We'd love to hear from you. Until we do, you know the deal. Keep on pushing.
Wonderful.